that's my prediction for 2023 is we're going to see a slow one. So I expect 2024 to be relatively slow as well. Hey guys, welcome to the show today. This is Brian Icenhower. I'm excited to talk to you a little bit about actually the housing market today. I want to talk to you about, we've had some new data come in. We're talking about home sales. And it's really important. And I'll always preface it when we talk about the real estate market and the housing market. I'm talking about that to us as business owners, and whether we sell real estate ourselves or we run a team or run a brokerage or we're just a sales agent or what have you. How are we going to run our business? Because it is our business. Navigate the upcoming changes in the real estate market and the changes we're going through right now, because it does impact how we do business and the environment we navigate in within the real estate industry in multiple ways. It impacts the overall economy, as a matter of fact. So really important we stay up to date. We plan a little bit. It's one of those things we do, and we are now at a kind of a unique position where we are actually, past 3 months. So 3 quarters are in the book. So we have sales data from the first 3 quarters of 2023. And we can get a pretty good idea and project what our total sales volume is going to be for the entire year now, and kind of line it up with the trend over our past year's sales volumes and get an idea of what, how the real estate cycle is shaping up. And then when I say real estate cycle, that's kind of a power-packed word. And I always want to preface, there really are 2 real estate cycles, because there's really 2 different real estate markets that I always want us to look at and be cautious of, right? One is the number of sales that occur, which is what I'm talking about now and today. And that really only matters, to us in the industry. Our clients don't care about how many sales they are. I'm sure they care about your fortune and how much income you make, but it really just dictates how much income we make and how much sales revenue there is. And there's only so much commission dollar to go around. If sales drop off 20% in a year, some agents are going to feel that unless they change, and the agents that stay productive will reap the benefit and not feel it as bad. Of course, we know that. So that's why we got to know when that's happening and when it's coming and what these different cycles are. Now, the second market, the second cycle is home prices. Okay, home prices. Now, home prices are pretty stable. Yes, in luxury markets or certain areas in North America that maybe the prices that, after the pandemic, prices got run up a little too high in certain areas, so they're coming down. In certain luxury markets, that source is true. But generally speaking, from a median home price in America, we have a shortage of supply, despite decreases in the amount of demand due to interest rates and things like that. We have a vast shortage of supply that can't be corrected anytime soon. So housing prices seem to be very, very stable, if not appreciating and going up again, right? So we're definitely not talking about that, but we are talking about home sales, and that has made it, that's pinched people in the real estate industry quite significantly. We knew that low inventory was a problem. Low inventory alone is not going to be a big problem. Why? Because we had similarly low inventory in 2019, 2020, and no problem then. Everybody, we had tons of sales, tons of sales volume. Some of our record years were in 2017, 18, 19, where we had 1.5 million more sales a year than we're probably going to have this year. And we had less inventory, or we had similarly low inventory. The problem is the demand has died back, and that's often, mainly because of interest rates. And the higher interest rates makes the demand decrease a little bit. So because of that, we're not appreciating as fast, but our sales is dropping. Our home sales are dropping. So that's our concern, right? So we as agents have to adjust what we do. So here's the data. It looks like, okay, so I'm just going to come out with it right now. It looks like we could be on a record low year, that we have a chance at having a record low year, for the number of homes sold going back, well over 25 years. And that's a long time. There's a lot more people on the planet since then. There's a lot more houses, you know what I mean? So it's hard to sell less homes. But we'd have to go all the way back. My records show probably to 1995, so almost 30 years before we saw less homes sold. So even in 2008, we sold 4.1 homes, right? So at the top of the housing boom, we said, I'm gonna, for those of you that can watch, I'm gonna show you a graph right now on my screen. If you can't, don't worry about it, because it's not much, but it's pretty powerful. At the top of the housing boom in 2005, we were selling 7.1 million homes a year. 2006 dropped down to 6.5, and then the crash started happening. 2007 all the way down to 5 million, and in 2008 that's when all the banks were failing and stuff like that. Lehman Brothers went under, all of that. That's 4.1 million home sales. That was the low. It went up to 4.3 the next year, 4.2, then up to 5.7, and then all of a sudden 2013, 2014 we were up in the fives. Got all the way up into the sixes in 2021. Now, after 3 months in, it looks like we are heading at not quite 4.1, but I'm showing 4.2. I'm projecting 4.2 million in home sales, which would be the lowest since 2010. It wouldn't be the lowest, though. In 2008, we went down to 4.1. So we're almost going to get there if my projection comes true. I could be wrong. It could get there, though. It could hit 4.1. Who knows how cold and dark and dreary and slow this winter's going to get. And that comes on the heels of a lot of, news out there that has been put out by, mainly just reporting on the Federal Reserve and what they're saying. And they're talking about, hey, we got to live in this high inflationary environment for a while. Looks like 1 or 2 years. So certainly 2024. So I don't see any relief in the mortgage rate department. But I do think that buyer expectations will come around. So, you get used to interest rates, and interest rates never stop people from selling. It's just when they move or there's news about them, people freak out. But right now we know we're going to have these rates for a while. So people will generally tend to move at much higher levels rather than when rates are going up rapidly. But if they just hold steady, generally speaking, sales volume picks up again and people forget those old rates. So they start to move, and life goes on, and they see housing prices going up, and they got to get in the market there and before they get priced out of the markets they ultimately want to be in. So that's the deal. And the key for us as leaders or as agents, as business owners, as brokerage owners, team owners, solo agents, is we've got to have a growth mindset through this. That's the key. I mean, we've got to focus on getting our unfair share, because what's going to happen is the highest producing agents, teams, and brokerages that stay growth oriented, they're going to gain a lot of traction, because when it gets down and dismal like this, a lot of agents start, wandering the desert like Israelites. They don't know where to go. They start to wander. They start to doubt their mission. And that's what starts to happen with agents. And they just start making lateral moves, and they move from broker to broker and team to team. They just got to change something because they're not making any money. They don't know what to do. So they just start making changes. So big teams and big brokerages that are growing, that are trying to recruit, they'll actually get all kinds of growth right now if they stay focused and don't just cut all their costs and scale back and say this isn't working themselves. Those people that can power through this with the growth mindset, this is when the real leaders make up a lot of gains, is in the turns, not the straightaways. And we're in a turn right now. Everybody's got to slow down. And this is when you can actually grow. Same with lead generation. This is when the top teams get a lot of the listings too, because why? People are saying, oh, it's tough. Things are slow. Oh my gosh, the market's uncertain. I need as much money as humanly possible. Inflation's getting out of control. Who knows what's going to happen? So they start hiring the best, so it's the top producers, the ones with the signs up all the time. So the rich get richer. It's the lower producers that don't have the discipline, they get stuck. Top teams oftentimes, there's two ways to grow, right? You can spend money or do something uncomfortable. For a solo agent, you can spend money, which is hard to do when sales are down, or you can do uncomfortable activity like prospect and lead generate and contact your SOI and do all those, which is hard to make yourself do. So that's tough. So a lot just fail out. As teams, now you're starting, you're a little bit bigger, you're a little bit more established. So you can actually use some of that established commission income to increase some marketing. So you're not doing all the uncomfortable activity through activity. However, there's money that goes into marketing. So as leaders, how are we going to make it through spending all this money? We don't have the income, so it's tough. We can scale back there, or we can keep trying to grow through it, because more agents, more listings means more income, unless we have to cut back on. That's how we get our profit margin back up. Is we grow through it, we recruit through it, we lead generate through it, we push listings through it. That's how we push through it, because the public's not caring about our market. Housing prices are holding stable. Our market is just us. Our market is, we have to make the way you get through. You will not cut costs and cut expenses to your dreams. That won't be the path there. It's important to be frugal, don't get me wrong, and it's important to mind your expenses and not waste money. However, at the same time, it's very important we don't cut muscle. We got to cut fat, but we don't want to cut muscle. And if it's a growth activity, if it's something that's in alignment with us growing and getting to a place where we earn more income and less money, I would be very hesitant to cut those aspects of my business, because that's what gets us to our dreams faster. That's what gets us more income. If we cut everything out every time we go through a bad market, then we have to build it all the way back again. And you can only do that so many times before you just quit on your dream. Here to tell you, and it takes forever to get there too. It takes a lot longer to get there if you do it this way. If we can just keep growing through these things, we get there a lot faster. If we can just paddle through the waves. Okay, that's the idea, guys. That's the plan. I hope that helps a lot. That's my prediction for 2023. Is we're going to see a slow one. So I expect 2024 to be relatively slow as well. I don't expect a huge, mainly because of the inflationary measures. You know what I mean? We've got a high dollar and high inflation. Federal Reserve's going to keep those rates up. I think it will pick up. I think it'll be higher than this year, than 2023. However, don't expect, it to come roaring back. So we're going to have to make our own way. You know what I mean? We're going to have to make our own income and earn our own keep. That's the plan. Stay with it. Can't wait to see you guys next time.